Hello, this is Ashley Edmiston from Central Community Library. Welcome to Myths and Fairy Tales, a program where we talk about stories from all over the world and highlight great books and digital resources you can find on these topics. Today we'll be discussing an increasingly popular genre in YA Lit, retellings. A retelling is a new, usually updated or retranslated version of a story. The characters and essential parts of the story often remain, but are transported into different settings, genres, time periods, or plots as a way of focusing on different aspects of the original story. Readers can often recognize parts of the original tales, but the content has been changed or updated in a way that allows the author to put their own spin on classic stories. Probably one of the best-known retellings is the Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan. Here, Riordan takes various elements of Greek mythology, its gods, monsters, and heroes, and turns them into a modern urban fantasy story. Thanks to the success of this series, Riordan has created his own publishing company called Rick Riordan Presents, which publishes similar books from diverse authors about mythology from around the world. Many of these can be found through Hoopla Digital, including the ones you see here. So here are some great examples of the kinds of books and media we're talking about. Most of these are available right now on the Hoopla Digital app as ebooks or audiobooks. All of the books you see here are based on mythology. So for example, Dragon Pearl by Yoon-Ha Lee takes Korean mythology and works it into a science fiction story. Similarly, Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi takes inspiration from Nigerian mythology for her fantasy setting. All of these titles are based on fairy tales and folklore. Both Ella Enchanted and Into the Woods, which are movies, take elements of a variety of well-known fairy tales and mix them together to create a new and unique story. Similarly, Cinder by Marissa Meyer takes well-known fairy tale characters like Cinderella, Little Red Riding Hood, Rapunzel, and Snow White and puts them into a futuristic Earth setting that strays far from the plots of the original versions. Many of these books are about reinventing old classics, combining parts of various stories, or expanding on the original tales. Finally, we have a few titles that have elements of a retelling but don't fall into any one category. Peter and the Starcatchers by Dave Barry, for example, builds on the story of Peter Pan by creating a whole new backstory for the character and going into detail about Peter's adventures before Wendy ever sets foot in Neverland. The Librarians is a TV show that involves a huge amount of mythological creatures and figures from around the world, and while it is not a strict retelling in the way many of these other titles are, it does update the stories it features in the same way. Thanks for tuning in! You can check out the titles mentioned here and more on the Hoopla Digital and Overdrive apps. Happy reading!